You ran the procedures just like how you did, um, or just like how we wanted you to. So they will reset the sim back on to the final. But since I don't have that luxury here in Microsoft Flight Simulator, we'll just vector ourselves back around. So when we do that, we will go ahead and restring their approach. So I go direct to Andy. Since we went to Toga, it restrings the whole approach here. And we'll radial in, and we'll call that a day. Approach restrung, no nav intercept, which is perfectly fine. But why is there only a... okay. And also, how's their Atlanta runway 1? Alrighty. Well, in this case, we can just put in ILS 9 left. I'll say no via this time. We'll insert. And, oh no, we were doing 9 right. That's why none of the points made any sense. Alrighty, so ILS to runway 9 right. There we go. Most our approach vias. There's the Andy. We'll go ahead and insert that. And now we can go direct to Andy. And do the radial land. There we go. No nav intercept. Excellent. So, I'll pull the heading again. And let's swing it back around. Let's go back westbound again. Get ourselves going the right direction. And for the sake of time, I will also speed us up to 250 knots to get us going back the right way a little bit quicker. Alrighty. So, that's all set up. Our gas is looking good. So what we would do is we would do our backward Z, double D all over again. It's the same exact approach. So for the sake of time, we can say we already did that. Now, what we need to do is we still need to see, well, we got this TR that's inoperative. We're only Cat 1. It says or Cat 3 Single, sorry. So we know we're Cat 3 Single, so now we have to go back into our little chart and see, well, are we still do the approach as a Cat 3 Single? And as a matter of fact, we can do a Cat 3 Single. And as a matter of factly, we have Cat 3 Single. We're Cat 3 Single capable. With the FMA should show Cat 3 Single. So the lowest we can go is a 300 RVR. The caveat is we still need 600 for touchdown, 400 for the mid, and 300 for the rollout. So our minimums do actually go up because we are Cat 3 Single. We need the touchdown zone mandatory. We need a mandatory 600 RVR plus 1. It can be either mid or the rollout. And just like before, we can substitute the far end if the RVR is missing. So, those are requirements to do our Cat 3 Single. Also, what we need to do is go back into our performance page here. We're in selected speed, so we'll go ahead and activate and confirm the approach there. Okay, and that brought everything back in. Cool. And what we can do now, what we have to do is now, instead of saying no in our DA field, we're going to have to put in, since we're Cat 3 Single, 50. This is now decision height into our radio field. So we'll put in 50. And we have to add to our briefing now, in addition to all the other things that we briefed in terms of what's a go and what's a no-go item, to continue below our decision height of 50 feet, the flight visibility must be greater than or equal to the required visibility for that approach, and proper visual references for the intended runway must be distinctly visible and identifiable. So that's where that thing, remember when I briefed in the first approach about our seat height, that's going to become very important now, as we need to actually be able to see something when we get down there. So what I will do to guarantee that we see something is I'm going to change the weather just a little bit to make sure that I am going to be able to see something when we break out below the base there. I'm going to adjust it down just a little bit. That should be good enough. Should make it just enough so that once we break out below the clouds, I should be able to see something. Or it should increase the visibility just so I'll be able to see something. We already ran the landing assessment for a higher weight, so we should still be good there. So that's all good. So otherwise, as we would in the simulator, we can say, well, we briefed everything else. These are the differences in our approach briefing. We now need 50 feet. At 50 feet, we have to see something to continue. Otherwise, we will go missed. Hopefully, I will see something. If not, I'll just continue to a landing anyway, because I cannot control the weather that well in a flight simulator. So it should be done to a full stop landing anyway on this one. So with that done, we will go back, assume everything is briefed up, and we will rerun the descent checklist altimeters 29902, auto brake, low, perf approach page, set, arrival briefing, reviewed no star, CATIII Single, ILS runway 9 right, and status is checked. The descent checklist is complete. Excellent. So we're just a beam easy now. So what I'll do is we can make a turn to the north. And I will slow us down to 210 knots. Alright. So usually we'd be snapped backwards on the final, rebrief everything while the sim is in flight freeze, and then once we're all ready, we would then be released to do the approach again, because we're doing the same exact approach, the same exact way. The biggest difference is now it's a CATIII Single. We got to see something at 50 feet in order to continue, which is perfectly fine. Alrighty. We are below VFE next -10, so flaps 1 speed verified. And as you can see, status page popped back up again when you go flaps 1. There's no changes there. Clear status, clear status. Alright, we will slow it back down. This time I'm going to go straight down to 170 knots. That way I don't have any, I get a little fudge factor since I am going to be intercepting inside of Guy there, or just outside of Easy. We're below VFE next -10, flaps 2, speed verified. There we go. Alright, Fenix 320. You are 4 miles from Easy. Turn left heading 060. Intercept to 09 right. Localizer clear for the ILS runway 09 right. Alright. So 060 until established. Maintain 4000 until established. Cleared for the ILS runway 9 right approach for Fenix 320. So we can see our box is already auto sequence. We're returning to our intercept heading now. I'm going to go ahead and arm the approach and the second autopilot. I see CATIII Single here. Autopilot 1 and 2, flight directors 1 and 2, and the auto thrust is on. Seems like the simulator is still giving me about a 7 knot gust, even though I said I don't want any gusts. But so is life. There we go. Low capture. Glide slope capture. Set the most approach altitude. 4,000. Set. And I'm going to go back into our default landing view here. It's kind of zoomed out for my preference. I like it. I use the scroll. About 1 or 2 mouse scrolls more zoomed in seems to be ideal for me when flying the airplane. The other one just seems a little too far zoomed out. Mind you, I do have I think that's a 32-inch display, so kind of a lot of monitor space that I do have, which is great. I love it flying around with a 32-inch monitor and 4K. You can see my frames up top. I generally do get right about 90 frames when I'm flying by myself. So, got the 2,500. That seems like a good time to manage our speed and drop the gear. So gear down. We're below VFA next minus 10. Flaps 3. Speed verified. With that, we need to come down and arm our spoilers. VFA next minus 10. Flaps full. Speed verified. Before landing checklist, altimeters get 29902 and 2680. 29902 checked. Engine mode, norm. Landing gear. Down through green. ECAM memo. Landing no blue. Before landing checklist is complete. Excellent. So now we are configured, fully ready to go, and have my seat adjusted to an appropriate height to be able to see the approach lights or touchdown zone lights in order to continue our landing. So now the FO is strictly an inside person, while the captain is kind of going between inside and outside, verifying electronically. So right now, both would be kind of inside. There's not really much to see going on outside. We want a very quiet flight deck. We only want abnormalities to be called. 1,000, stable. That should be an auto call out. Don't know why it wasn't. Stable target, sync 9. I don't know why the winds are so gusty up here right now. I did not have the wind set for this. I am not a fan of Microsoft's weather, like doing it manually. Here I'm going to toggle the active pause real quick. And let's go ahead and see what my wind level, what my wind layer is doing. So 5, let's see. There should be 0 gusts. Speed. Okay. There we go. Turn gust all the way off there. Alright. So, and let's undo that. Alright. That should be a lot more stable. Land green. I missed that. So next thing we're looking at is we're looking for our runway environment cues at 50 feet. Continuing. So we have flare. That's good. Alright. Thrust levers are at idle. And we have rollout guidance. So, deployed. That's interesting that how the airplane flared like that. 80, moving up to men reverse. 60, we're keeping them in reverse until I can kind of see where my turnoffs are. I just passed one, so I'll put it in forward idle. And we briefed how we would taxi off, so that is good enough for me. We'll let the auto brakes bring the aircraft to a stop. There we go. And the parking brake is set. The scenario is over. Very interesting how the airplane did the derotation after touchdown. Kind of took it a while, but all in all, not bad. That's kind of how it would look like. That's almost exactly how it would look like if you were to do a autoland CATIII Single. You notice we got the 100 above. You could probably start seeing a little bit of their approach lights, and then right as we near the runway, you got the runway, the approach lights in sight right just before the minimums auto call out. So we said we were going to continue to a landing there. So overall, that's kind of how we would do it on the line if we actually had to do a CAT3 approach, and that included a TR1 fault. So we get a little ECAM action going, and we get a CAT3 autoland going. So that about concludes it for this maneuver of my yearly recurrent training. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you liked it. What did you like about it? And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.